going to get that bias to the more extreme side because that's the loud minority talking, and they're the most hardcore black pillars who, say random stuff such as, "Oh, if you're not 6'4" Chad, then it's over. You might as well give up. If you're not in the top 5% or the top 1%, you might as well give up. It's over. There's no point." That's what you'll see in the comment section. But if you watch my content or a couple other Blackpill channels content, you'll see that it's a lot more modest and grounded in reality. It's more data driven. It's more like objectively focused rather than nihilistically focused.
What's going to be the difference between like moderate black pill versus like red pill content?
So red pill, the main difference between red pill and black pill, in fact, it's a little, I can nuance it like really precise, but this will take a couple minutes to explain because the red pill is actually broader than a lot of people think. Like when people hear red pill, they're just like, oh, that just means self-improvement, bro. Just get a haircut, bro. Just learn game, bro. All of those things. But I've actually looked at the red pill community, the different channels in the space on YouTube, and it's a lot broader than people think. There's actually some sides of the red pill that are actually closer to black pill than they are on the other sides of the red pill, if that makes sense. So if I could just explain it for a couple minutes, I could give you a very clear picture. So there's three main factors in the manosphere that people disagree on, and those are the importance of looks, how much you can change your looks, and whether women are hypergamous or not. And there's some red pillars that reject all three of those. So they would be your pickup artists because they believe that game is the most important thing. So they don't believe that hypergamy exists because they believe even if you're a 3-4 out of 10 guy, if you've got perfect game, you can still pick up a 7 or 8 out of 10 Stacy. And obviously they reject the importance of looks as well because they think it's mostly about game. And they reject the genetic component too because anybody can improve their game. But then when you look at the black pill, which is the complete opposite of, that way of thinking, they reject the importance of things like game. They're mainly focused on looks. And then they believe that you can't change your looks all that much. And they believe that women are hypergamous. So they only want to date guys that are more attractive than them. And just to give one more example of how the red pill can be close to the black pill, because there's one subset of the red pill which believes in two of those three pillars that I just mentioned, but they're still classed as red pill because they do believe that women are hypergamous, and they do believe that looks are very important, but they reject the idea that your looks are determined by genetics. So these guys are mainly like focused on gym, improving your fashion, improving your style. So they believe that women only want to date guys that are more attractive than them, but they believe that if you want to get into that position, you just need to improve your looks to a point through things like gym, style, hair, grooming, and so on.
Okay.
That's like my basic overview. So, I think if you just look at that, if you zoom out from all what I've just said, that, one aspect of the red pill where they're mainly focused on gym, style, hair, I would argue that they're actually closer to the black pill than they are the pickup artist guys who are more concerned with game and, dating not being hypergamous.
Gotcha. Okay.
Awesome.
So do you have anything to respond to that?
I sound like I would fit like pretty squarely in the red pill camp there then, I guess, if that's how we're different.
So if we ask one by one then, of those three pillars, how much, like, to what extent do you agree with each of them, like in just a percentage, like 0 to 100? So 0 to 100, are women hypergamous?
Is hypergamous for just dating or for sex? Or what do you mean when you say hypergamous?
So they want to date guys that are higher up the ladder in X, and whether X be status, looks, wealth, anything like that.
Or just your total SMV.
Yeah.
Well, that's a hard one because like everybody wants to date somebody higher than them in some regard, I would imagine, right?
Okay, so that means that you do believe that women are hypergamous then? You're 100 on that?
Yeah, women and men, I would say. I'm 100 on are both hypergamous, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I disagree with the men being hypergamous,
Okay.
But we can get to that in a second. But Just based on that alone, you're not based on the fact that you agree that people want to date up, that women and men are hypergamous. That means that you reject this idea that some 4 out of 10 guy with unbelievable social skills and game can seduce an 8 out of 10 woman at a bar because he's got, that just raw skill, that raw game.
Well, I mean, I feel like the tricky part here is going to be in defining the words of like, what does it mean to date up, or what does it mean to prefer something up? Because I would say that like probably like it's going to be reasonable depending on how you look. Like if you're a horrifically scarred face missing one arm, and you're probably not going to pull a 10 no matter how good your game is. But I think that like most guys can be like a 6 or at least like a 6 or 7 if you like do a haircut, like take care of yourself in terms of hygiene, like have a decent pair of fitting clothes, and that those guys can pull pretty far above what I think a lot of people online would think they could pull. So I don't know if that's at ends with the hypergamous thing. I think we have to define pretty rigidly what it means to like date up or look up in something, I guess.
Well, I could hopefully give a accurate answer to that hypergamy is more concerned with SMV, and I don't think that social skills is a component of SMV. Rather, it's like the communicator of SMV. It's similar to like
is that like social male value or something. What is SMV?
It's sexual market value.
Oh, sexual.
So
okay.
Everyone's got their own opinion on what goes into sexual market value, but people mainly disagree on the proportions rather than the components themselves. So everyone agrees, like the red pillars and black pillars alike, that part of your SMV will be looks, part of your SMV will be your status, your money, things like that along those lines. Your height goes into it, your dick size goes into it, your even things like your voice. Like if you've got a really high pitched voice, then that's like lower SMV. But then it's widely considered that social skills aren't a part of your SMV because that's like the communicator. Like it's delivering the SMV to the person you're talking to.
So could two people have the same sexual market value but different social skills?
Yeah. So they could have the same sex. So if there's 2 guys, they're both 6 foot tall on the dot. They're both like a 6 out of 10 in the face. They both have the same income and like wealth and status, things like that. But one of them's got, far better game and social skills. Then obviously he's going to outcompete the other guy because he's beating him in that department.
Okay, but that wouldn't be considered part of his sexual market value?
No, I wouldn't consider that. And I think that most people in the manosphere would agree with that they think it's separate. You do have like a very small subset of people that think that game is a part of your SMV, but I don't think it's really tied. I mainly hear the argument that game is like what sells your SMV. It's like in sales, the product is the product, and then the sales pitch is in essence the game aspect of it.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. All right, interesting. Yeah, I'm chilling. Okay.
Yeah. So I was just so we could like wrap up this thing, because I know it's taken a while to explain, because you're not like a hardcore manosphere participant, but just to go through the 3 things then. If you had to say 0 to 100 on each of them, just so I can, for my sake, so I can get an idea of where you stand. So women are hypergamous, 0 to 100. How much would you agree on that? Do they want to date guys higher SMV than them?
Fuck. The problem is just it's that SMV formula. I'd probably say no then. I'd probably say that people probably are about on the same level. That's what I would say. They probably shoot for about the same level. That's probably what I would say. But we'll probably get into the weeds on that later, I guess. That's probably right.
Okay. Okay. For the sake of continuity, the importance of looks. So women want to date guys mainly for their looks, 0 to 100.
I'd probably do that at like probably 40-ish.
40. Okay, that's fair enough. And the last one, your looks is mainly genetic.
I'd probably do that at like 40-ish.
40 as well.
Yeah, I think so.
So you think the majority is the things that you can change your looks, such as going to the gym, improving your style, your fashion, fixing your hair, grooming, skincare, things like that. And then the genetic components will obviously be like your facial structure,